18 months ago, I had £280 in my account, 3 days before payday. I had tried saving before, more than once. I would put £200 aside, something would happen, and 6 weeks later, I would be back at zero. I genuinely believed my salary just wasn't enough. I was earning £35,000 a year, roughly £2,300 a month after tax. 18 months later, I had £10,000 sitting in an account I hadn't touched. Same job, same salary. No side hustle, no moving back with my parents. The biggest difference wasn't earning more. It was changing how I saved. My first 2 attempts failed. The first time, I followed the standard advice: save 20% of your income every month. 20% of £2,300 is £460. So on payday, I moved £460 into savings and felt like I'd finally figured it out. By day 16, I had transferred £200 straight back. Rent had gone out on the 1st, my next pay wasn't until the 15th, and I hadn't realised how tight that period was. Month 2 was the same. I saved £460, then transferred £280 back when my car insurance renewed. After 2 months, I had £440 instead of the £920 I had planned. That's when I realised the problem. I wasn't bad at saving. I was saving based on a number instead of understanding when my money moved. So I tracked every recurring payment. Rent on the 1st, council tax on the 3rd, pay on the 15th and 28th, phone on the 22nd, and subscriptions scattered everywhere. I noticed something important. Between the 1st and the 12th, I was almost always tight. Rent and council tax had just gone out, but my next payday hadn't arrived. Every previous savings attempt had collapsed during that exact window. I wasn't bad at saving. I was saving on the wrong days. So I changed the system. Instead of one large transfer once a month, I split it across my 2 paydays. £250 from the 15th paycheck, £250 from the 28th. Both transfers happened automatically on payday. That's £500 a month. And here's what made the difference. I didn't have to rely on discipline. The money left my account before it had time to feel spendable. 3 months later, I had £1,500 from the new system. Add the £440 from my failed attempts, and I was at £1,940. For 3 straight months, I hadn't transferred anything back. That had never happened before. Then I printed 3 months of bank statements and looked at every single line. That's where I found another £153 a month. £28 was going towards subscriptions I'd forgotten about. I was also spending around £140 a month on food delivery. I thought it was occasional. It was actually happening 2 or 3 times every week. I cut that down to around £50. That's another £90 saved. And my grocery bill had slowly increased by around £35 a month without me noticing. I started comparing prices again. Another £35. Total, £153 a month. I hadn't earned a single extra pound. I had simply stopped losing money to spending I wasn't consciously choosing. So I increased my automatic savings from £500 to £620 a month. £310 from each payday. I kept the remaining £33 as breathing room because I wanted a system that could survive real life. 4 months at £620 added £2,480. My balance reached £4,420. Then came the real test. My boiler broke. The repair cost £900. This was exactly the kind of expense that had destroyed every previous savings attempt. But this time, I just paid it from savings. £4,420 became £3,520. No credit card, no borrowing, no starting over. Just a lower number and a working boiler. That was when I realized this attempt was different. Previously, an unexpected expense meant the plan was over. This time, it was just a normal Wednesday. Then came the boring part. For the next 8 months, I did nothing interesting. No new strategy, no financial hack. I simply saved £620 automatically every month. £3,520 became £4,140, then £4,760, then £5,380, month after month. And honestly, I wanted to change things. I felt like I should be doing something more sophisticated. But I didn't. Every previous attempt had failed when I got bored and started changing the system. So I let it be boring. £620 times 8 months is £4,960. And that money showed up whether I was motivated or not. After those 8 months, I had £8,480. Then another month took me to £9,100. Another brought me to £9,720. And then I crossed £10,000. So here's the full picture. 2 failed months, £440. 3 months at £500, £1,500. 4 months at £620, £2,480. A £900 emergency expense that didn't destroy the plan. 8 boring months at £620, £4,960. And 2 final months, £1,240. All on the same £35,000 salary. I didn't start a business. I didn't get a second job. I still went out. I still ordered food. I just did it less. The difference came down to 4 things. First, I learned when my money actually moved. Second, I automated savings on payday before I could spend the money. Third, I audited my real spending instead of guessing. And finally, I stopped constantly changing the system. Because the hardest part wasn't the £900 boiler repair. It was the boring months when nothing happened. That's when it was easiest to convince myself the plan wasn't working. But every previous attempt had failed during exactly those periods. I got impatient. I changed something. And I stopped before consistency had time to work. So if you're trying to save right now, start simple. Write down when every bill leaves your account. Write down when your pay arrives. Set up an automatic transfer for payday. Go through your last 3 months of statements and find the spending you don't even remember making. And after that, let the system run. You don't need a perfect budget. You don't need to stop enjoying your life. You need a system that works even when you're not motivated. That's how I went from £280 3 days before payday to £10,000 in savings in 18 months. And the biggest lesson wasn't how to save £10,000. It was learning how to make saving boring. Because boring is what finally made it work. I'll see you in the next one.